Boston.
I'd like to welcome you all to Table Toke, the podcast.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Where we talk about the exclusive business in the cannabis industry, things, information about the different strands, the new dispensaries, where you at, all that type of information. Either you're a grower, smoker, whatever you're doing. This is where you find out the new innovation when it comes to cannabis. We talk about the new tech that you use for it, use for it. This is where you're gonna find your information about that at exclusively.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in for another episode of Table Toke. I'd like to welcome all the viewers. Really excited about this one. We're in Boston, Massachusetts, home turf here. We came out, we're right at the garden filming. I'd like to welcome my co-host for Table Toke, HellRazah.
Yes, indeed. I'm here with my family. We here with the Table Toke podcast with Chad James, the Chad GPT a high, and we giving some exclusive things we cooking up for y'all for the future for 2025. So you're gonna always want to stay tuned. Matter of fact, subscribe now, turn on the notifications, and stay in tune with us and stay in sync with us, because you're gonna find out a lot of special guests popping up over here, and you're gonna hear a lot of information that you don't know and that you're not gonna find out nowhere. Because we're gonna bring professionals, people that have the knowledge and the information that you need. If you're looking for it, this is gonna be your place to be.
And we got some special guests today that we want to introduce.
Absolutely.
You can look over here, they'll catch you on the camera too. So we got STENNY.
DJ STENNY over
DJ
here.
STENNY.
What up? Welcome.
From the Puff Down out in Massachusetts.
Just came from that, and what is that?
And then we got also the producer
The producer of
the upcoming documentary and album
an album.
with you.
Yes, indeed. The High
My boy
Project
High.
is coming soon, so get ready for that too.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
How you doing? I'm doing good. This
Doc-
is awesome.
Music doc.
Yeah,
We're in the garden,
we are like literally in the garden, right?
in the Boston Garden, North Station.
This is kind of a cool concept of what we've been doing, because we've been traveling around a little bit. We've been, grabbing different studios in different areas, and we've been able to kind of check out things across the country, right? What up, Stenny? Tell me a little bit about the Puff Down, Mary Palmer, all sorts of stuff you got going on. Been friends with you for a little bit now, man. I'm really happy to see what the Puff Down's been doing. We had the National Wu-Tang Day.
So let's start off with Mary Palmer. I got some gummies for you guys to try, actually.
What better way to start off,
See
man?
what I told you? Remember
better
I
way
said
to
about
start
you
off?
gonna find about some exclusive edibles and everything here? I was not joking.
Let me get into
What's
my
your favorite way to consume the cannabis? Because I know you use it for a lot
Me, I
of
use
medical
it for
ailments
medical.
and stuff.
So medical is cool for me. Vape.
Okay.
So because it's no like after mav or smoke, you ain't smelling like an ashtray. You ain't got little clips or nothing around. So once you do it, it's gone.
It's important that you get the right product and the right vapes, because some of them.
And it helps me for like sleep and pain. So it's I don't do it for recreation. It's not a recreational thing.
So
It's for medical.
And then
how many milligrams are these?
these are 5 milligrams. Here you go.
Bought us all our own bag.
Yeah, you guys got. Well, there's a sample of 2 different types.
So now they're 5 milligrams.
5 milligrams
And
each.
Reason being on like
This is the
on
Mary-
a
this is
legal
Mary-
level.
The gummies are a little bit low dose.
Tell them about the cannabis cup that just passed.
Oh, the Harvest Cup. The Harvest Cup was a month ago now at this point. One of the best events in New England, in my opinion. I've been going to it yearly for a long time. I think this must be about like the 8th year.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to win with Mary Palmer multiple times at that event with the drinks and topicals. Next time I need to get you some topicals, because I make award-winning topicals for your muscles and
See, that's helpful.
So how did Mary Palmer? Let's get to the. How did Mary Palmer start?
Mary Palmer started with me and my girlfriend Lynn Spinney.
Which is in the cannabis space as well.
She was in the cannabis space. Yeah. She was you know, we were formulating these drinks and stuff like that, and topicals, and dog treats, to help people. I mean, that's what we were really starting to do. So Lynn now is doing a lot of dog training, and she's still, you know, passionate about the cannabis space, but it's she's gone on to, you know, have fun and follow her passions. So she's doing more dog training and boarding and stuff like that.
Thank you.
We're working on getting the Mary Palmer product to market, though. That's what we're really working on now. That's why we came out with the 5 milligram gummies. We're just in the testing phase, but we plan on going to market with them with Ideal Craft Cannabis in Massachusetts in early 2025.
Okay. So I've been to Ideal Craft Cannabis. Nice spot. Tell me a little bit about those guys. They're cultivators. Nick.
Yeah, Nick Saber is one of the owners. He was social equity. He was in the first cohort, I believe, of social equity. Me and Lynn were both in the second cohort of social equity. So, you know, the Massachusetts came out with the social equity program to help people get to market within the cannabis industry because they were impacted by what were they?
The war on drugs.
The war on drugs,
really.
yeah, really.
And that's what it's supposed to do. And the thing is, in Massachusetts, there were, you know, some of the right people got it, but some of the, you know, not to get too into it, but in some areas it became a front for some of these bigger companies. I got asked to help on the social equity program in Rhode Island, and you know, they kind of did the opposite in New York. So we got Massachusetts where it became a front for some of these larger businesses to capitalize on some fees and some different, and to kind of get involved in some businesses on somebody else's. It's we can get into that another time. But in New York, they almost made it too easy to get a social equity license. So now we have a bunch of people out there that don't have the greatest business experience, and they're setting their businesses up to fail. So I got asked in Rhode Island to help structure some of the social equity program in Rhode Island, knowing some of this stuff from Massachusetts and in Rhode Island. And on, you know, we've been doing a lot of work with the Native Americans, and they also came to me to kind of find out how can we incorporate some of that into it. But social equity should be to help, you know, a lot of social injustice and stuff, and people who got in trouble, you know, in trouble for cannabis and put away, and now it's like their way of saying like, oh, sorry we threw you out. sorry we threw you in the joint. Sorry we ruined some stuff for some families and this and that. But now it's time for us to make money on it.
Right.
So we're just going to give you a little apology, and we'll give you a cheaper license.
I mean, Massachusetts, they're trying to do a good job. I wouldn't really say they've done the best job. Like, Lynn got arrested in Ohio for cannabis. That's how she got into the program. I had my house raided in 2009, I think, for cannabis. And, you know, I'm also a veteran. We've won so many cannabis awards and developed so many products, but none of them are available within the Massachusetts dispensaries. So we have to come to market with some of those products and then work in other ways.
And you can add a lot of value, too, with the events and stuff you do. You don't see and I know you feel that, too, that reason we started doing a lot of events and things is because that's the only way you could market in cannabis. You can't market traditionally. It's getting a little easier now. But with the events, you know, that's why we've incorporated music and just to really kind of get stuff out there and create a buzz. So I feel like you yourself, with the company getting your products in there, I mean, you can bring a lot of value besides just your products.
I have 20 years experience in music, producing events.
Yeah.
I started producing events in 2005 in Boston.
You really do your thing in the music. I definitely respect that. I mean, that's probably why you and I have clicked on different levels, right? You got the music, and then, I mean, it's been a big, cannabis has kind of been that, like, common denominator for me in that conversation piece, right? And to work with people in music.
Yeah, what are you interested in? We're all, so a lot of us in the industry and community, you know, are interested in cannabis. That's, you know, why we got together and why we're friends. but also music is a huge aspect of that.
It's part of the connection.
And that's how it started. I mean, like you were saying the other day, Razor, you brought up, like, you know, I mean, all the older hip-hop artists and stuff, I mean, they were rapping about this stuff for years, and it was a big part of the culture for a long time. And now it's like traditional market people should be involved in that. We're going to have all these new people come in that are just like in it for the money. Like, we got to keep it in it for the culture.
That's corporatism. See, corporatism look for anything that's not monetized, that they're not profiting from. So then it becomes a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But once they get rid of the problem, then they commercialize it, and it's in Walmart and everywhere else after that.
Yep.
Then it's okay. It's okay, but it's limited. You can only have it in dosages. So it's okay. You can have. It's okay if we say it's okay, but it's only in dosages because now we got to control it. And if you pass state lines and borders, it's different rules apply. So that's why you have migration happening, where certain people from states is going here and here, and it just keep going on, and because the different laws is applying, and it's certain things even with that to where people like, I going over here because, you know, the laws there is different. So they do this by design. This is not accidentally happening. So it's happening on purpose because they pushing the market out of certain areas. Because that'll later on, once that'll move away from there, that'll later on become what's a big time one of them companies. That'll become a Walmart before you.
Yeah.
And it'll be a big, huge market over there. And that was a field where, you know, people was making, you know, they was growers over there, was growing, the growing community. See, they pay attention to that. See, it's effective to them because they make money off of medicine. So there's a huge profit in the sick people. So if you keep people sick, you can make a lot of money off of them. So that's not by accident.
You know, you said that the other day, man. You said there's no money in a healthy body, and that was like we were doing, and it's true, man. And
it's like common sense, but they make it seem like it's so difficult.
And that's why, like the Native American piece, I've talked about this before. Of, you know, when I started working with the Native Americans on stuff, what they stand for in life is what I stand for in cannabis. So it only makes sense to kind of bridge it together. Where that's why I'm very big on, you know, we talk about craft cannabis. That term's got a little loose too.
Right.
But I want to make it like the microbreweries, and like when you think of craft beer, you know, it keeps it very, you know, cultural and community based.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's actually some medical benefits to this shit too. So that's 100%. Why they took over control of it. They said we got to take control of this because now this going to interfere.
Imagine that there was a plant that you could grow in your backyard and it could really help you.
It'd be a lot. It'd be a lot of healthy.
It can
people
replace, not just help you. It can replace some of the things that they're putting out synthetically.
Right.
You know?
They don't want you
It'd
to
be a
be
lot of
able
healthy
to do
people
that.
out here. And see, and that's what it plays a lot of things plays into each other. So they keep people stressed out and sick on purpose because they're gonna drug you up. So they're gonna drug you up and fill you up because you realize you pay a medical tax every year, right? So what'll happen if you never get sick? What do you think happened to that money? What do you think? The money just disappeared? You should worry about money that you don't see, that you're paying for. And you don't see that money, but it's there. It's guaranteed taking out your check, though. But you don't see it after that. And if you never sick, you would never see that money. You would never see that check.
Which is important. That's why it's important for guys like us that we're doing. And, you know, I appreciate you coming on this and us doing this podcast because, like, so we can get this information out here, but also, like, the documentaries and things like that. I really believe in storytelling and doing some production to get things out there, which, you know, really brings me over the corner to my homie over here, High.
Yeah,
Let's give it up for High, man, my boy Kevin. Kev, man, tell us a little bit about, you know, what this project that we've been working on, how it's evolved, what it means to you.
Evolved a lot from the original concept of even before working with HellRazah, from diving down into the production world, music world, and DJ world as well, and kind of rekindling that passion the past couple years, and being able to work with you and HellRazah has been amazing. I met HellRazah through the internet, which is crazy to think about now how far the internet has come, and how connected everyone is, and to hear his story and be able to work on just an iconic piece of hip hop history, because these people are still here doing their thing. Like last night, we saw a show in.
Good show last
good
night,
show,
right?
Yeah, good show.
What we see last night, man.
Jizza, saw him, right?
Genius.
Yeah, genius, right? And that's the thing is for me, I'm just
And Ghost and Ray.
and Ghost
Leave
and
them
Ray
out, man.
and Cap
Come on now.
and Cap, and
Capadonna
they brought out
showed
another
up.
person, right? Too, Ice.
Oh, Iceman Bronson.
Yeah,
yeah,
Iceman
which is
Bronson.
Ghost homie, and then which
Yeah.
is cool because he's really been bringing him along. I mean, they just got back on tour from they were out in Germany, the Netherlands, and to know that they were on tour and then they came back and they wrapped in 3 more shows. They did Philly, New York, and then Boston. I mean, again, I always have a newfound respect for them every time I see them perform, and then I see them individually perform, and it's just like you just see the professionalism.
Yeah, it's incredible to see, and for me, be able to, because I didn't really grow up around that 90s hip hop as much or listen to it until much later in life, and so bringing on as an executive producer to help me like understand the sound and the culture and the history, right? Because most people, probably a little younger than me, that don't understand where hip hop comes from, or even in the cannabis space, don't understand how hard it was to grow and provide like a plant that's medicine for people, because it's taboo, I would say, right?
Right.
And now things are changed, but still it goes back into understanding the history first and where that love comes from, or why it developed the way
It's
it is.
crazy to think about. We're still in the first generation of hip hop, right? Like those.
Bro, to see, hey, something I saw actually like earlier today, and it was like a little thing that said that we're the first generation to see the hip hop legends grow old. Right?
Right.
There was never hip hop legends with gray hair, and to see them still spitting fire and doing this stuff, like that's never happened before. Because
Yeah,
we've
right.
seen it ever since,
Crazy.
like the dudes from the '80s. I mean, shit, like the first rap battle from Kool Moe D and my boy Chief Rocker, Busy B in 1981.
Right. Rakim.
Yeah, but that's the first.
like,
I mean, I was born in '82, so like now, those guys were young. We got to see these guys grow old. And not, I don't want to say they grow because they're still like we watch them. They still have plenty of energy and stuff. But we just see them mature, and see how that's changed, and now they're able to come and tell the stories and set some groundwork
Before
for some of
technology
them.
put you in extinction.
Yeah,
And
sets
see,
for some of the
that's
new
what you
cats.
got to be careful with, because before you know it, you don't get no more idea of where it's began from. The genuine parts of it is robbed. You get robbed of it. You don't know. You're like, well, I didn't know music started from none of that. I didn't know.
Kevin reached out to me and he was working on an album for RZA, and he was working on this project, and we just started talking about it a little bit, and some of the things that I was able to do with some of the Wu-Tang fellas, and then we just started talking about it and came up with some planning and strategy, and it's really, really evolved, and now we're able to like incorporate guys like you, STENNY, and just like incorporate the cannabis, just to kind of see it all evolve is pretty crazy. And now it's like kind of the universe is taking over on it, but then we relaunched this podcast, and we did a few episodes. I feel like it can kind of serve as the hub to just bring that information to people. So I appreciate you, all you guys on here, and I mean it means a lot to me. Like when you coming out and the stuff that it's really got to evolve. I mean it's just
Man, this is
man,
all
it means
part
a,
of
it
the
means a lot to
scene,
me.
though. We into all markets right now. Fashion, film, everything is coming. We got the documentary coming with the album for music. That's where High over there can come in. His production name is High.
And looking at hip hop, how cannabis is a huge part of everyone's lives, And can you explain how and why it's like that?
Why cannabis is a big part of life? All the hip hop artists were always smoking, right? And you know, just when you went to the studio, you were smoking blunts. You had a couple things you needed there, right? Some snacks, so you know, you definitely needed your weed there. So they were always talking about it and stuff. For me, I was involved in cannabis for a long time, and it was obviously on a non-legal level, right? And I always never felt like I was doing anything wrong. We were moving, you know, just moving with weed, and everybody was smoking it, but it was something that, you know, I saw a lot of people get really bad into drugs and alcohol and all that, and weed wasn't that. So fast forward some years, and I started growing. Once I started growing, I got more of a respect for the plant at an agricultural level, and it really kind of a metaphor for life when you start thinking about what you feed, the nutrients, how you need the environment, the climate, and all that. But now kind of going, you know, full circle here, we were doing a lot of these events, and that's the way we would market cannabis. But when I really, really think about it,
that's the best way to. We get together. I have good weed. You have good weed.
right.
Let's share it. It's the only way to do it. How else can you market it?
Right, because it's a very organic way of marketing it. Yeah,
It's not going to market itself.
yeah.
Right. If you have the best weed, it does.
And that's what we've done, and it's been a common denominator for me. So when I think
the whole
about
room would know about it.
when I think about it, like to years earlier and to now, everybody big in my life that I really met was through cannabis. So to answer your question and come back to it, like that's what it means to me with hip hop and everything. But everybody, like it's always been that common denominator to kind of bring people together and you know, just meet over, like, you know, not to sound corny about it, but over the plant. We met because of the plant.
Yeah, it's very communal, right? You're sharing, passing it around, and
It's social. It makes you socialize.
Yeah, when you go into
Normally,
that circle.
it'll make you socialize with people you wasn't talking to. Before you know it, can I get a light? And now you're in a conversation. Oh, yeah, don't I know you for something? Blah, 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 blah. That turns to
Definitely a social circle.
Yeah, what
It's a
about
social
you?
plan. It's a social plan.
And it's more mellow. There's no, like, when you go out with like booze and stuff and drinking, I mean, there's
fighting,
always
you're
some
acting
types
wild.
of fights.
See, that's
There's
the
always
other thing
with
about
these
it, too.
events. None of that shit
it
happens.
calmed the level down of the activity.
Yeah.
And because people stopped going out because it was too wild. So they used to be scared to go out. Oh, I don't go out anymore because of shootings and so on and so forth. So it took that element and made people calm, and you know, like they was had a good time. You remember the last time you had a good time? I bet you it was some cannabis probably involved around that atmosphere, because that's what it started to do. It started making people have fun and smile again.
And creative, right?
Good
Creative.
Yeah, so let's talk
And
more
that
about
goes
that.
back to your
Yeah.
question. When you were in the studio, like, you can only sit there and drink for so long, and these guys be in the studio for hours, these hip hop, and it's like, yeah, you know, everybody, but you can sit there
your
and smoke the whole
creativity.
time.
Your creativity levels will go up from it.
Mm-hmm.
You start thinking of creative things to do that you normally wasn't thinking before.
Well, that's like, you know, you talk about, you know, guys like Bob Marley and stuff like that, and that was, you know, that was his output on it. You know what I mean? That's what, you know, it enlightened his creativity, and, you know.
See, that's when it's not a drug, it's a medicine.
Right.
See, and that's the borderline of it. It can become a drug or a medicine. It's depending on the hands it's in. Because once it got corporatized, it became okay for you. See. Once it was in other hands, it was a drug, and don't touch it. See, and that's how you got to understand this market. And it's okay when it's beneficial.
Why do you think the hip hop fellas specifically were so embedded into cannabis and weed their whole life? Why do you think it really resonated with that audience?
It plays a part in the streets and music. So when you coming up in, most artists is street related, you know, doing music on the streets. So when you're doing music on the street, you battling, you normally in a cipher because you smoke it. A cipher came, the word, yo, let's get in the cipher, that came from weed. That came from puffing weed with your boys. Yo, let's get a cipher, let's have a cipher. And then that cipher turned into let's have a rhyme. Now a rhyme cipher. Because now you surrounded by a whole bunch of rappers. So now it's like, yo, let's have a cipher. So the cipher start going from the cipher went from, the 5% nation is 5% nation, the cipher was a circle, 360-degree circle. So you got 360 degrees at each angle. So it's like a 180, 120 on each angle. So 120, 120, before you got 360. And then you're in the full circle. Each corner, there's a corner, each corner. And then before you know it, you talking you done meet some people because you're in a cipher with them. Like we in a cipher right now. You sitting on a podcast cipher right now. We sitting here having a cipher, but we ain't no smoking involved. The cipher is what we talking about. That's the attraction.
And usually we be puffing on the table Toke, but today in the studio that we're in, we're not. That's why STENNY was,
bringing out the gummies.
open up
And which means
the gummies, and that's
see
what's crazy about
that's the
cannabis now, right?
maturity of being a smoker. Because once you mature, you ain't sitting there trying to still there rolling Phillies and Dutch Masters no more, White Owls. You ain't trying to do that no more.
We're sophisticated now.
Exactly. You start being, I'd rather just have a pre-roll. So now you get pre-rolls where you don't have to roll a blunt. It's already rolled for you.
How do you smoke? What's speaking of pre-rolls and whatnot? How do you consume? Do you?
I use the vape.
Your vape?
Yeah, because for me the vape is helpful because I have mobility issues. I can't
pre-rolls.
do it myself. So the pre-rolls is helpful for that because I can't do it, but it's helpful for me medical to sleep and for my pain. That's where edibles and things come in because if you can't, say you in a condition where you need it, but you can't do it for yourself. Yep. So the edibles will come in because it's the same THC that's just inside of the same flowers that you probably use.
Stronger.
Exactly.
And that's how the concept of table Toke came about. Like I remember a few of my boys, we would always go by one of my buddy's house, and there'd be different people coming by all the time, but there was like this table, right? Just this round table that we would just sit at and we'd smoke. And the conversations that would come up, like there was a few times where I was like, man, we should like film this, because some of the we'd get into sports or we'd get into music or whatever the hell it was, and we'd be smoking. So I was talking about it, and we were sitting there when my dudes was like, we were kind of coming up. He was like, Toke, and we were like, table Toke. And then that's so it was actually born, the idea of this was born a while ago. And then we were just kind of waiting for the right time for production. And the universe has kind of been putting it together, right? Because now we got Kevin came to me with HellRazah, and then me and you have met and worked together for a while. And now, again, it's all kind of, the cannabis it really brought that together to some degree. And actually, a question for you, Kev, how do you feel about it? We just kind of came together with the music, and you've been traveling around with me a little bit and seeing some of the cannabis events and how we can really get involved with the culture. How do you feel about it being involved?
Yeah, so I'm kind of mixed, right? Because I come from a pretty conservative family around cannabis because of the stigmas and tabooness with it, right? And so going through that process, and for the past, actually for a while, because about over 5 years ago, probably longer than that, when hemp got legalized, right, products started getting pushed, and I did a lot of research and actually did a lot of marketing for a lot of CBD companies, and so it's crazy to think that something that was highly illegal, even in Thailand. When I was in Thailand, it was a death penalty. Now it's illegal. And I was there with some friends who was able to get some weed. It was brown, like some of the brown square weed, and as a death penalty if you get caught with it. Now it's full illegal. So it's interesting to see the social shift, but also still remnants of the stigmas around it as well. And what I've seen going to all these events is that people are very passionate about cannabis and the medical aspects of it, and also all the benefits of it, and how tight the community is, how a lot of people really do care about it. And now to see legislation, catching up, but still there's still inequality as well there, right? Like people getting locked up and for many years, and some are still locked up right now for non-violent crimes, right? And now you have companies coming in trying to look for a profit, and it's a little unfair, them coming in and how they're giving away these licenses to maybe people that shouldn't be controlling the industry like that.
I feel like the most dangerous thing about cannabis was it being illegal, right? And years ago, I got wrapped in with some, serious individuals that were involved in cannabis and weed just because it was profitable and because it was illegal, and that's how you had to get involved with it. And I look at some of these bigger people that I was involved with and stuff, and when I look at it with the corporations now, I'm like, they weren't, they're not any better. They just know how to hide, like yeah, man. It really, to bring it back to the music and the culture, I just think that stuff's it's just very, very important. How do you feel with it, like integrating with the music?
It's definitely pretty cool to see, because I think it goes hand in hand, right? Because it's just using cannabis, you hear things differently, you appreciate things differently, and it's communal, right? Having a spot where many different people from different backgrounds love music, love cannabis, or some people who don't smoke just loves the music, but then they're at an event where everyone's very welcoming.
Yeah, I mean, and now too, you see a lot of these hip hop guys, and that's the cool thing about the maturity that I was saying, right? Like, where now a lot of these hip hop, they're actually starting businesses. Like, we were just down in New Jersey. Like, Raekwon opened a dispensary, very professionally put together.
Yes, indeed. Go support my brother's. Go support my brother's dispensary. If you live in New Jersey, go to Astoria, check it out. You're going to be excited. You're going to love what's in there. You're going to have a wonderful time there. So, you go in there and support things like that, because you don't want to wait for the corporate to come, and then you can't support an independent business no more.
Yeah, we got to keep it, again, that's why I talk about the craft cannabis, because, beer was around for years and years, and then the craft beer only came around within, 15, 20 years, and you can see it being brought back to, like, the smaller businesses, and people are supporting smaller businesses. They'll stand in line. Smaller batches. So for me, I always wanted, being from the grow space and being a grower, I always wanted to support that and be able to see these growers and stuff be supported, not this just turn over to these big, huge entities, thousands of plants. They're not putting the love into it. You just can't.
Because they turn into factories of mass production. Before you know it, it's just process.
Race to the bottom, too.
Yeah, so Stenny, how does your process work? It's like, I know you've won some awards for it.
Tell us about those awards.
Yeah, so
tell us about those awards you got.
Traditionally, we would make a lot of products in the illicit market, I guess, in the traditional market, like, topicals to help people and stuff like that. So we started entering them into competitions to get some notoriety. One of the first events we entered into was the Boston Freedom Rally, that they had a competition. We entered one of the drinks in.
Wild event. Been going on for years.
Well,
Boston
30 years, yeah, 30 years. They had Red Band and Method Band come perform there. Yeah, like that was almost 10 years ago now, I think.
And it's like one of the places where they just kind of look the other way, because it's been going on before it was legal, and they just, put up a stance, and they're like, we're going to have this event. And it's cool to see that event evolve into the modern times, right? Because back in the day, it was, they were doing it when it was very illegal. And now, I don't like this in between. I don't like the in between. Like, I either rather see it like, where it's illegal and now it's legal, but it's half legal. I don't like legalization just to support these bigger companies. like as far as the scheduling, I feel like it should be descheduled, right? They're trying to move it to Schedule 3, and some people that don't know the cannabis space are like, oh, that's a big deal. Like they're moving it from schedule. Just to be clear right now, Schedule 1 is where cannabis is. It's up there with cocaine and heroin, which is just completely even ridiculous just for us to talk about. Like you can't even hide that. It's ridiculous anymore, right? But they want to move it to Schedule 3, which will put it in with ketamine, steroids, and anything that has medical value. But alcohol is not scheduled at all. At all, right? So why are they moving it to Schedule 3? Well, there's some reasons behind it, because it's going to allow some of these bigger pharmaceutical companies to start doing things that they weren't able to do before, and it's going to put them in a bigger position. So really, there's some of these groups out there that I've seen that are fighting for the deschedulization, and I support that. I support the deschedulization. I don't think moving it to Schedule 3, it's just, it's not going in the right direction, even though people feel like that makes it in the right direction.
Yes, because it used to be not even a misdemeanor, but they giving them federal offenses for that shit. Now that's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like a certain amount you used to carry was up to a federal charge, but now it's not even that. It's like crazy, and it's like they're giving you almost 25 to life now for a bag of weed and shit. That's crazy. That's crazy, and that's not by accident. So that's on purpose. Because now you're going to downsize the way you get you're going to go to the dispensary now. Because now you're going to go, the streets, I can't get it for the street. The niggas getting locked up for 20, 25 years for a bag of weed now. So it's all about design, man.
Now, Stenny, you're a veteran. Tell us how important that is to involve and how much it's impacted, the veterans.
I think it could have helped a lot of people that aren't around anymore. I mean, that's, there's definitely...
in what way?
With PTSD and different, if it's a calming agent or whatnot, or,
insomnia.
Help you sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So people with PTSD, stuff like that, the cannabis could help with some of that stuff. There's a lot of guys out there drinking themselves to death. Sometimes, the cannabis could be helping in that way too, so they're not drowning in themselves in alcohol, to help with PTSD and stuff like that. So there's definitely a whole bunch of ways it could help. The most important part is getting the knowledge out there and helping people. Because if they don't know that they could get helped by like a plant like that,
So the education's important.
The education, it's huge. It's huge. People, there's a fear and a stigma to it still.
The control.
I
got a question for you.
Yeah.
Good one for you. And it relates to everything we're doing too. How do you see AI helping the cannabis community?
I think AI could be a huge help, because there's people that we were talking to. I don't know, you were just out at MJ BizCon. You might have talked to some of the same people.
Yeah, I did. I actually have something, can't let too much of the cat out the bag, but one of the Native American women that I'm working with that we're helping to design some facilities and coming up with some plans. She actually invented an AI machine that can help feed a lot of cannabis plants, but it also can control the room and stuff like that. Now I know what people think, like, oh, it's going to take away the jobs. No, it's going to actually let people do other jobs
more efficient,
that aren't such labor intensive, and be able to work on the plants in a different way.
Right.
So it's very cool. But yeah, so at MJB, I mean, obviously there's a lot of different
it's
innovation.
actually helping vegetation now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it kind of relates to the same community. So I was looking at, because they got drones helping.
Well, it can help farmers. Because what happens is farmers are like, oh, it's going to put us out of a job. But if they embrace it, I mean, farmers are having trouble making ends meet right now. So if it can make things more efficient and help bring more revenue, some of these farmers and things have to embrace it. And I think the reason they haven't is because there's lack of education. You hear robots like, oh my God, the robots are going to take over. But
yes, the scary part too is they keep building more cities.
Yeah.
So that's migration pushing out. So to keep building hotels, more. So the more cities stuff keep coming, is pushing up the migration is pushed out. So you won't get how many farmers you got? How many places you could go to right now and go buy fresh vegetables from them? Not too many. You need to worry about that.
And that's why, like, shout out to Sadie Whitebird, man. She was doing some of this AI technology and stuff, and her vision is really to go into abandoned buildings. And I don't want to let too much of her plan out for NDA purposes, but she's talking about taking some of these abandoned buildings and being able to do vertical grows in them. And she's got a pretty elaborate plan, and I really see what she's talking about because, like, humans have damaged the earth. We've damaged the earth. So when people are talking about organic and stuff, yeah, I get the organic concept, but we don't realize that our land is so contaminated from the pesticides and the stuff we're using. So people, they belong inside. Not to say we embrace nature, all this stuff, but we're harming it with some of the new stuff we're doing. So if you could bring some of this stuff inside, you could have more sterilization. And she's designed some stuff to be able to get kind of an organic feed to it, and very, very clean level. But, some of these buildings that are just doing nothing and abandoned, we can actually grow and provide food for people, cannabis, hemp.
Yeah, and then doesn't that growing hemp help with the soil and all the contaminants in there?
Yeah, sometimes it can pull out some of the dirty stuff in the soils. Yeah.
Which is another dirty little hidden secret they're trying to keep from us.
They're doing the same thing as psychedelics with the mushrooms.
Oh, boy.
They're stripping them and then giving them to you.
And that's another thing too, right? Like the psychedelics and stuff. I feel like, the movement we've had on cannabis has helped a lot of the movement in the psychedelics. And that's another thing that can help veterans.
Veterans too, yep. They've been definitely working on that right now. There's people doing ketamine treatments and psychedelic treatments.
Right.
I mean, the VA needs to adapt to it, though. That's the problem. Being able to get, I have PTSD with being able to get access to cannabis through the VA would be huge, right?
Right.
Like they don't subscribe it. There's no program for it.
And a lot of that's because of the federal legalization.
I think they get afraid when it's
They get a little
sort of
nervous about it.
psychological. They want control. So when they got to do it, it's a war. In 2025, they keep saying the war is on the mind. So now they're gonna stop attacking you physically. So they're gonna start attacking you mental things. So if you're not aware, you're not gonna catch what's happening. It's
There's
gonna
all
be
sorts of propaganda and things like that out there.
It's gonna be happening on a higher level than you can even. You won't be able to detect it.
Hasn't the propaganda on cannabis started a long time ago, like over 100 years ago?
Oh, yeah, man. You can get into some things. I mean, there's the old story about the paper company, right? You heard about like where, this paper company, they found out that they could make paper and stuff just as, faster, more efficiently through hemp. So this paper company went out and put all sorts of campaigns out there to just tell them like, how bad cannabis was. So they would push the legalization on cannabis, and it was all for money. A lot of the propaganda that's been out there and the things that have been placed were, like you said, by design.
It is.
And they've done it to really make cannabis just. There's some other stories and theories, and most of them are true. Like they wanted it to be illegal. And it was all for money. I mean, the prisons too. The prisons are big money. It's all about money. They were able to put people away for weed, right? That's a money. That's a big business. Prisons are a big business.
Because if it make a dollar, it's a business. That's all you need to know. If it's profit, it's called profit and gain. So once you make a profit off of something, it could be anything. You could be like, yo, here, you want to buy this off of me for $2 a sip? That's business.
Well, think the money they make off the companies that make the toothbrushes and the mattresses. There's a company that just makes prison mattresses. Just mattresses. So, you know what I mean? These are all these businesses that are tied, and that, like, if, they had less people in them, they just wouldn't make as money. So there's a lot of
because when you look at
agendas.
The technology, the innovation that's happening is insane right now, and they got the you could buy the pre-rolls pre-rolled already. All you gotta do is put the flour in it. See, that's replacing the physical work.
Oh, the cones. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they say that's like 85% of dispensary sales too, of the pre-rolls.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I want to see is I just want to stop making sure there's good pre-rolls out there, because what'll happen is a lot of people are using their trash to throw in.
So what's the difference between like something's good and bad, and going back to your point of like when you got those awards, like what if like a brand new consumer, they don't know much?
There's a lot. Yeah, that goes back to education, I guess. Really, it really does. Like educating the consumer that's buying stuff. Like there's companies in Massachusetts that are remediating their cannabis by what's called like X-ray.
So what is remediating? What is
radiation.
What is that? Is that good? Is that bad?
So basically, they have product that won't pass. So they take it and they X-ray it or use radiation, and they treat the cannabis that way. Like personally, I don't want to smoke anything that was in radiation or like
that's like a microwave, right? It's
like a microwave. Yeah.
Weed,
Like
that's no good, man.
Well, it's a racket, man. Like so, I had somebody on actually Table Talk episode, but it's when we were just doing the audio thing. But I interviewed them when remediation first started being known about, right? And I was really, we started talking about it, and again, there's a lot of people that didn't know about it, a lot of companies that didn't want you to know about it. But how it was explained to me is, so out on the East Coast, you'll never pass on any of your outdoor cannabis. Because like in California, it's like, microbial bacteria is set at like 10,000, which is like very, very low. So microbial bacteria are on your hand, or if a caterpillar lands on it, or anything. So when you're outdoors, you're gonna fail on this microbial bacteria. So they had this company that'll come in and they'll say, okay, here's what you can do. You can turn it into like concentrate or whatever, but you have to do a specific technique, which is usually like BHO, which is butane, and it burns some of that off. Or you can remediate it. So then they say, okay, you can buy this machine off us for $300,000, or you can use our machine here that costs $5 million. Now the $300,000 machine does about 2 pounds a day, so it's not efficient. So the people tell, okay, well we're gonna do this. We're gonna use your machine. They were taking half the product as payment plus half the product, okay, some of these companies, all right? This is wild. So now what do you think they do with that product? They go put it in the dispensary or wherever they put it legal, or maybe it's being pushed in a block. Well, however it's going, they use it and it's driving down the price of cannabis.
Because they didn't pay for it, right?
Because they didn't pay shit for it, right? And now, I won't say names, but I actually caught a couple companies failing people purposely. So now this is where the federally illegal stuff, like there was the company I was working with, and I was consulting for them, and they were bringing their stuff in and kept saying they were failing. And that was in the indoor grow. Mind you, the outdoor grows, like I said, it's very difficult. So, for outdoors on the East Coast, you got to kind of do concentrates with it. In California, it's a little different. You can do it. But they made it too strict.
Massachusetts testing is really strict.
Right. They made it too strict. So for outdoor, it should be different for like kind of outdoors. But on the indoor facilities, you should be able to pass.
So what determines it passing, not passing? Is like
so the microbial bacteria, if it's on over 10,000, what is it, like IUs or something? Like
Yeah, I think IUs.
But anyway, however they measure it, if it goes over that, then it fails, and then you have these options of remediating and stuff. But I actually caught a company that somebody was bringing their stuff to them, and they're like, we can't figure out why we can't pass. We had this checked. Now they're spending all sorts of money on the facility to go through vents, go through all that.
Testing.
Finally, I'm like, listen, they said, no, we know these guys really well at this company. I said, you ever think about switching companies? Finally, they didn't know what to do, and they did, and they passed. And they switched another company, and they passed. So now you mean to tell me why they're failing? I mean, speculation, but it could be because they're in the mix. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff with it being like not being federally legal. That there's like a lot of things that won't protect companies. So that's why I mean about the half legal. Like I don't want to move illegal with none of these border restrictions, or I want to move fully legal. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how I feel about it anyway. And we could probably go on forever about that topic.
So when it comes to hybrid, hydroponics, and
So a hybrid is when you
No
have
seeds?
sativa and indica, and that's the blend of the indica and the sativa. That's a hybrid.
Oh, because it's made up.
Because because you have like sativa, and then you have indica, and then the hybrid will be 50-50 or 40 yeah, 60 exactly. You know, so some people like that, like you don't have that full sativa effect.
So what's the science behind it being called sativa versus indica?
It's basically goes after like the terpene profile. Some terpene profiles make you feel more energetic, or
like limonene and
Got it.
those, for example.
And so all these terpenes usually make up. Oh, this is more indica. This is sativa.
Correct.
that's how they
Yeah.
initially.
And I heard with the terpenes, it even breaks it out with like so many different terpenes for different moods and feelings.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And that's what we were actually you were with me. I was very impressed by Hardin.
Yeah, Hardin's
in
was
Las
great.
Vegas.
And the hydroponics is in water, right?
Hydroponics is grown in water, yes, and they feed it the nutrients with water. So that's it's better
Would
for
that
an
be a better-
indoor type grow.
Okay, I was about to say, is that better
Outdoor,
for-
I like to see organic being done. Indoor, I think a little different. A lot of people want to do the organic indoor, but there's no scientific evidence that the plant can distinguish by being fed by minerals or by organic. So I feel like when you're bringing it indoors to create the better environment, let's do it more efficient. But don't want to use chemicals. You want to use like natural salts and some organic feeds to go in
Crop
there.
steering.
Yeah.
That's kind of more,
keep it
give
healthy.
the plant.
It's like keeping it
exactly what
healthy,
needs.
right? You want to
Right.
keep your growth healthy.
That's what, going back to what you were asking about AI, using AI in that aspect, so you can have a camera in the room, you can look, oh, this plant is deficient over here, feed it a little bit of whatever it needs, more CalMag, it's always more CalMag, and then
Well,
these ones over here have too much nutrients, dial it back a little bit.
Right.
And the AI is gonna do that for
By
the whole
itself.
entire room.
And and it'll learn. Like this machine that she invented, that's called Alice. Alice will actually learn the plant and learn the room and learn the strain, and it will learn the environment. So all those things you're talking about, it actually starts doing it,
Every
right?
single
Yeah,
strain
itself.
is different. Like how long you're growing it can differentiate. For months. Some plants.
Since we on the topic of a strain, remember we were saying we're gonna do the strain of the month. What today on the podcast? What would be the strain of the month?
What's hot right now? What
Is
one
it a
at Harvest
sativa,
Cup?
a hybrid,
You know what I mean?
or
I don't know.
an
I know
indica?
Gilf, my boy Gilf, kind of won some stuff. There's
I
a
have
lot
been
of winners at the
lately. I
Harvest
have
Cup,
been
isn't there?
seeing a lot of different sativas that they've been making, flavors too, which is odd to me. I'm like, is this okay, or is this something that's
What do you like? You like gassy? Do you like?
too strong? It's too airy and too strong. But I stay with the sativa because it's calm.
Yeah.
You know what
So
it
I'm
is?
not
There's
like-
so many strains out
You
now.
know, you don't be all lopsided and want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
No.
Couch lock.
Yeah, but indica does that to you.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
before
In the
you know
couch.
it, before you
In the couch.
you be knocked out, and you be like, "Yo, get up, man! It's like the World Series is happening." Yeah, you be dead, knocked out. It's like, yo, I passed him the blunt, he fell out. I don't know. Indica is strong, man, and if you ain't got enough weight and your body is weak, it's going to end you.
See, I need that indica sometimes. I'm a little high strung to begin with, so I like it to come. I like to bring it down. Thank you to all the viewers for tuning in to an episode of Table Toke. Much more to come. We're bringing you new innovative products from cannabis, talking about all our projects. We're talking about the latest in hip hop, the latest in music, and latest in the world with my co-host, HellRazah, Chron Smith.
Better believe it.
Go check out the documentary Risen. Stay tuned for
RisenDocumentary.com.
Still Rising.
And for the merch, we stream
My boy
Diamonds
Stenny.
OZ.
DJ Stenny from the Puff Down in Massachusetts hosts the National Wu-Tang Day this year and coming November 9th, 2025.
Coming soon.
And my boy Kevin, the producer of Still Rising and
Get ready.
the upcoming album for HellRazah, my boy Terrell. Thank you everybody for tuning in.
Salute.